Hi, in this tutorial, you will learn how to use the new Microsoft Planner app in Microsoft Teams. So basically, the new Microsoft Planner app that is part of Microsoft Teams brings together functionality of some previous apps named To Do, Planner, and Project for the web. These are previous applications made by Microsoft, but now they have put everything into a new Microsoft Planner app that are available from Microsoft Teams. So this new Microsoft Planner app in Microsoft Teams will typically be perfect to use with a small project. You can also use the new Planner app with Agile approaches like Scrum and Kanban. And also the new Microsoft Planner app is an excellent tool for small student group projects. So then let's see how we can make this new Microsoft Planner app ready for your upcoming project. So now I have my Microsoft Teams application up and running here. So the first thing we typically need to do is to create a new Microsoft Teams project. So here you have a list of my existing Microsoft Teams project, but in order to create a new one, I just click this plus sign here, create new team. Can use one of the existing template. Typically, I just select other and then use this template. Then you can choose if it should be a private or public team. Typically, you want to select private. Then you select a proper name. So I just find a proper name, my project number 1, and then you can add some description here. Or just create. And then this new Microsoft Teams project will be created for you. Basically, now you can add members to your project by just adding their name or your email here. But so far, I will just have this project for myself, so I just click skip. And then you see here in the list of projects, I find this new project, my project, and then this general tab. I can also add more tabs or more channels in my project, but let's just keep it like this. And then here you have posts where you can chat with your team members. So here you have files. Here you can add files to your project and collaborate with other members. In addition, you have this plus sign. So let's just click on this plus sign and add a tab. And then here you will get a list of available applications or apps in Microsoft Teams. And on the web page, you can add the Word, Excel, etc. But we are going to make or add the new Planner app. So I just select this one, Planner. And then typically we need to create a proper name for this new planner or this new project. You can so my planner 1 or something. Here you could, of course, need to select or make a proper name for new project. I just call it my planner 1. Here in this window, you can also link to an existing plan, a planner project here, but typically I just want to create a new one. Here you can also post to the channel about this information, but I just remove this one and click save. And then here on top in my new Microsoft Teams room called My Project 1, in the General tab, I have this new tab on top here, which is actually the new Microsoft Planner app. So this Planner project that we have created here is linked to this specific Microsoft Teams room, but you can also make or use Planner independently of a specific Teams room. So then here on the left side in Teams, you can just click on these 3 dots, and then also you can add the Planner app here in this left sidebar. So just select the Planner app. If you don't find it here in this, just search for it, Planner, click on it, and then it will also pop up here in the left sidebar. And then you can also right click on it and pin it, and then it will be stay there forever. If you don't want to have it more, you can also unpin it like this. But here um, you can use Planner across different Microsoft Teams. So basically, you can set up more than one Planner project, and then by using this Planner here in the sidebar, you have full overview of all your Planner projects. So then next, let's dig into the details how we are going to use Microsoft Planner in a specific project. Typically, the first thing you need to do is to set up some folders or buckets, as they call it in Microsoft Planner. So basically, buckets is just a way to group your tasks in different folders or buckets, as they call it in Microsoft Teams and in Microsoft Planner. So when you configure a set of some buckets, it's time to add tasks to your project. Basically, just select add task, and then you can enter specific information about this task. You can have a task name, which is on top here. You can assign it as one or more specific persons. You can put it into one of these folders or buckets. You can set different progress, not started, etc. Here. You can set also priority, low, medium, high. You can set a start date, due date. And so here you can describe more details regarding this task, etc. Here you see typical information that you need to enter for each task, typically the title, assigned to one or more persons, put it in a specific bucket or group or category, progress, which is not started, in progress and completed, priority, typically low, medium, high, start date, due date, and some additional notes like you can put here. So now we are back in Microsoft Teams, so let's go to the list of Microsoft Teams rooms I have here, and then this new Teams room I created, my project one, and this general tab, and here I have created a planner project for this specific team. Just click on it, and then we have different to-dos here. We have grid, basically just a list of tasks that you have created for your project. Let's start with this view. So then basically we need to create a new task. So then let's create some task, create user manual or something. And then this will be added to the list. And then we can click here on this symbol in order to open details for this specific task. So this is the task name. Here you can assign different persons. So here you will get a list of all available members in your Microsoft Teams room. Since so far I am the only member of this Microsoft Teams room, I will only get me in the list there, but if you add more members in your Microsoft Teams room, they will pop up here. So I assign this basic task to me. So far I haven't created any buckets. Default buckets are to do, but I will create new buckets later. Here you can specify more details regarding the task. You can set up start date, so let's set it today, a due date, let's say in 1 week, like this, and then you can just click here in order to close it. And then I have created this specific task like this. And let's go to the board here, and then you will see if I group by bucket, then you will see these different buckets. So by default, there's one bucket called to do, but let's change it by just clicking these three dots and rename it. And have one bucket called project management, like this. I can create a new bucket called documents. So basically, buckets are just folders or categories that we want to So you can divide or group your different tasks into different buckets or categories. A new bucket, I can now call the development like this, and you can create as many buckets as you want. Let's just stick with these three buckets: project management, documents, and development. You can now back to grid. This create user manual is now in project management bucket, but that's put it in the documents bucket like this. Now we can create a new task. Let's create a task, create a count diagram like this, and then click on this open details. And you see it has been put into project management bucket like this, and then you can add the priority, low, medium, important, urgent, etc. Typically, creating this count diagram should be important, and you can add more notes, etc. here. And let's see start time, so then it should be started tomorrow, and also finished tomorrow like this. Click close, and then we can continue, just create more buckets in our list there. We can now, create new tasks, so you can have two tasks, 3 tasks, 10 tasks, 100 tasks here in the list. So here I can either click on open details to assign it as favorite person, or I can just assign it to here directly like this. So let's create one more task that we can put in the development bucket. So we have one task in the documents bucket, one in the project management bucket, and one in the development task bucket. So then let's say create studio application for the development task. Then assign it to me since I'm the only person. Set of start date, due date, etc. And also compute it in the development bucket class. So now we have created three tasks with the assignment and specific start date, due date, and put it in the specific bucket. And then you have the progress. None of them has been started. And then you can also set priority, etc. Or you can just click on this small symbol in order to open and change, see or change the detailed information regarding this specific task. So now, if you now go to this board view, select group by progress, you can also see here are all the tasks we have created so far. And then you see the progress. These are tasks that has not been started. Here are tasks that are in progress, and here are completed tasks. So then I can click on one specific task. I can change the progress to in progress. And then you see it will be moved and be put into the in progress column like this. I can also do it by drag and dropping. I can put it, drag it either to the left like this, or to the right. So I also use drag and drop like this, or I can just open the task and select the specific progress here in this list. Now I have three tasks. One task that is called create count diagram. It hasn't started yet. I have create one task, create a user manual, it is in progress. And then I have a task, create Visual Studio application, which is completed. Typically, we do it in this order. So this one is finished. Like this. So I start by creating the count diagram, then I create the application, and then finally I will create the user manual like this. And you can also filter it here. So now I see all the tasks. Let's say I want to see only the task that has not started, and all other tasks are removed from the board like this. And I can select all tasks that are not started or in progress like this. or I can just clear all. You see all the tasks here in the board. Let's go back to the grid. Here I have a list of all my tasks. I can have the same filtering here. So here you see all the tasks. I can filter just showing tasks that are in progress, like this, or not started, etc. I can clear the filter. I can also sort them. If I want to have this list in proper priority, let's say I want to sort by priority. I can sort by progress. I sort by the bucket, etc. The due date, start date, or the person that has the task assigned to itself. Now in Microsoft Planner, you have different views. So the grid view is just a list of the tasks that you have created. You have the board. Here you see a more visual appearance of the different tasks. We can easily move them between not started, in progress, and completed, like this. Or here in the schedule, you get more like a Gantt diagram view, where you see the different tasks in a calendar like this, where you see the start date, stop date, etc. And then you can easily move them around to other dates. You can easily set the start date, stop date by just drag and drop like this. You can also, of course, click on them in order to change the details for each specific task like this. So depending on what you want to do, you can either use the grid view, where you get a list, or use the board view, or this schedule, or similar to a Gantt diagram like this. So basically, that's how you use Microsoft Planner in a specific Microsoft Teams room. You can also use it here on the sidebar. Here, so here you have a specific My Day. So then here pops up all tasks that are assigned to you and that you should do today. And then you have My Tasks. That's a list of all the tasks that you have in all your projects. So here you see in Plan. Basically, Plan is the same as the different projects. So you have a set of multiple projects that you are part of. And this project can be connected to Microsoft Teams room, or you can just set up new tasks, new Microsoft Planner project here in this view as well. So then you have My Day, My Task, and My Plans. And there you see all the projects that I'm part of. And then you can easily create a new plan or a new project by just clicking this button, etc. Here you can also easily pin important projects. So here you see all the project that you are part of. And here you see the project that I have pinned because those are the most important ones. And you can easily, let's say, pin this one. And then it will pop up here. If you don't want to have it here, you just click here and unpin it. And the same for others. And if you need to go into a specific project without going into a specific Teams room, you can just select the different project here, either in the pinned list or in my plan list like this. So then just you want to go into this specific plan or project, just click on it and then you will get into that specific project. So either use this planner up here on the sidebar where you get an overview of your specific task here in My Day and My Task, and also you get an overview of all the projects that you are part of. Or if you just want to focus on the project in a specific Teams room, just select Teams, new team, and then you should have a tab here at the top in the general folder where you have the specific task for that specific Teams room. Today, Agile and Scrum project methods has been very popular. So how can we use this new Microsoft Planner app in Microsoft Teams in combination with Agile and Scrum methods? So basically, the traditional way of organize or work in a project is a so-called waterfall method, or in more general terms, so-called plan-driven methods. While Agile is a newer and a more flexible way to organize and run new projects, and Scrum is today one of the most popular Agile methods. So let's see how we can use Scrum or Agile in this new Microsoft Planner application in Microsoft Teams. So here you see a typical organization of a typical Scrum project, where you have a development team with multiple persons. You have a Scrum Master. The Scrum Master is some kind of project leader or project manager for the development team. And the product owner is the person that owns the project. He's the role manager. Typically, he is not working in the development company, but he is part of the customer company. And then you have so-called stakeholders, that are persons that are in some way interested in this project. It could be different customers, it could be those who are paying for the project, etc. And typically, in a Scrum project, you have a product backlog. Basically, that's a list of all the items, all the work that should be done in a specific project. And then typically, they divide the work or the project into different sprints or iterations. And before they start a new iteration, they need to have a sprint planning meeting where they take some of the items in the product backlog and select them and focus on those items in that specific sprint or item. In sprint or in the iteration. So here is the image of the main difference between these traditional plan-driven methods versus the newer Agile methods. So here, typically, this is how you organize a project in a plan-driven way. In the waterfall method, you start by creating, in the beginning, you start to create lots of documents. You then start to implement or create the system or applications. Then you test it. And then finally, you document the system, make user manuals, etc., and then you install it. But in this more flexible and newer approach, this Agile or Scrum, you do all the different topics in each sprint or in each iteration. So typically, you select some important part in your application that you want to implement, then you document that part, you test and install that part, and then when that sprint or iteration is finished, you show that the result to your customer, and then you discuss that part with the customer, and then together with the customer you start a new iteration where you select some new items from the product backlog, and then do the same. You select some new parts that you are going to develop, you document that part, you test that part, you install that part, etc. So basically, these are two quite different approaches, where typically this newer approach, this Agile approach, is much more flexible and are well suited for smaller projects, while this older approach, this plan-driven approach, may be better for larger projects where many different companies are involved. Here, we set it up in a more flexible way. So some important terms in Scrum are the so-called product backlog. So basically, this is a list of items or work that shall be done in the entire project. Then you have a sprint backlog. That is a list of all the work that shall be done in this current sprint that you are working on or the current iteration. And then in order to manage these items in the sprint backlog, you use a sort of task board where you just move the different tasks from not started and then in progress and finally to the done column in the task board. So basically, Microsoft Planner doesn't support Scrum in total, but of course you can also use Scrum in the Microsoft Planner tool. But they are not using these terms: product backlog, sprint backlog, sprint, product backlog items, etc. But you can set it up either using this grid view or the board view in Microsoft Planner. So here you see how you can set up the so-called product backlog in Microsoft Planner. So basically you just use the grid view here, and then basically you will get a list of items, which is actually the product backlog. These are a list of all the tasks or items that you're going to do in your project. While this task board is typically divided into 3 columns: to do, in progress, and done. And in Microsoft Planner, you have this board view here, where you have, and also in addition, if you do it by progress, you will get these 3 columns: not started, in progress, and completed. And then you can easily just drag the different tasks from the not started to in progress, and then when a specific task is finished, you can just drag it to the completed column like this. So let's summarize. So basically, this new Microsoft Planner app in Microsoft Teams is a great tool for small projects. It's integrated in this Microsoft Teams app. In addition to this planner, you can use the chat, you can share files, you can communicate with other team members using the built-in features in Microsoft Teams. So here is some final best practice advice. Typically, you want to assign only one person to a specific task. And then, if for some reason you think that one task should be done by several persons, you typically better to divide into smaller group of tasks and select or assign only one person to one specific task. And also, it's better to create many small tasks than a few large ones. Typically, a task should have a maximum duration of 8 hours. So typically, here's a bad example. Update the report is typically not a good task because it will take weeks or months. But let's say update chapter 2.3 with result from the simulations is a more specific task where you can set a specific amount of time that this specific task should do. And also, it's easier to assign this specific task to only one person. While updating the report typically will be done by multiple persons. Also, typically, you should work in short iterations or sprints, as they call it in Scrum or in Agile methods. Typically, you should set up an iteration or sprint, typically 1 week. And then, in the beginning of that week, you should add new tasks to the Planner app, assign them to specific person, and then during that week, you should work with the task board, move the task from not started, in progress, and finally to done. And when the week is finished, you should go together, have a meeting where you go through the different tasks that has been done, and each person that has done the different tasks tell about the task that has been done and demonstrate it. Also, you should update the task when working. Typically, when you want to start working with a new task, you just move the task from not started to the in progress column in the task board. And when you are finished with one specific task, you put it in the completed column. Typically, you don't want to work with too many tasks at one time at the same time. So typically, you put out 1 or 2 tasks in the in progress column, And then hopefully when the iteration or sprint is finished, we will move all the tasks from not started to the completed column. Also, make sure that you have a project manager, or if you follow this Scrum method, use have a Scrum Master as part of your project. And that Scrum Master or the project manager should keep track of all the tasks and have an overall control of the situation and status of your project. So that's all. So good luck with the new Microsoft Planner app in Microsoft Teams.